to GCU Reviews.
Getting closer.
What's hot and what's not.
Getting closer.
Bye.
Getting closer.
Hey guys, it's Dee.
And I'm Danielle.
And welcome to GCU Movie Review. I was like, were we supposed to sing that or not?
I don't know. It just happened. I don't know what I'm feeling.
Well, we've been focusing on Spike Lee. So we did another directed by Spike Lee movie, The 25th Hour.
Yes, Spike Lee joint.
A Spike Lee joint starring Ed Norton.
Yes. Edward Norton plays the main character, Montgomery, and he is walking through the last 24 hours he has of freedom before he goes to serve his 7 years in prison for drug charges.
Yeah.
He got busted. On top of this taking place in New York City during or after 9/11. So,
yeah,
during the aftermath of 9/11, I should say.
Right. So it was a novel by David Benioff. David Benioff, who was the director. He's the what is he? I want you to get your little thing in.
Well, if you are a Game of Thrones fan, you recognize his name, and you might not, you might have feelings about him, as do I. I feel you. But he was a showrunner for Game of Thrones.
Right, okay.
And he wrote this book, 2001, and also did the screenplay that became this movie.
Which usually, you don't do that.
That's pretty unusual.
But yeah, but he's wordy. He's very wordy, and so I guess he feel like can nobody else, translate this other than
Spike Lee.
Okay.
And so Spike Lee is directing it. Benioff chose him to do it for the story, and it really, I think, is just a testament to the way Spike Lee handles dialogue.
And that's the thing, he's the person with the difficult conversations. He's gonna have that. We're gonna talk about it. I know it might hurt right now, but we're gonna talk about it.
Oh, and a lot of things are gonna hurt if you're going through the last 24 hours of freedom.
Yeah.
Knowing how long you're gonna be locked up and how long you're gonna be gone.
Right.
Like, what would you do if this was your last 24 hours on the outside?
And you just knew you about to go turn yourself in.
Go.
What kind of path is that to walk?
That's wild. And this movie, we mentioned Edward Norton. Top billing.
I love him.
Great actor. But there's a lot of other actors in this too. It's a heavy hitting cast.
Yeah. So you got Rosario Dawson.
Yes.
She played the girlfriend, Natural.
Natural.
Her name was Natural. And of course you have Philip Seymour.
Yes, Philip Seymour Hoffman, R.I.P., legendary actor.
Yes.
Love him to
He was
death.
one of his friends, played one of Monty's friends, as did Barry Pepper.
Yes.
Barry Pepper. I like him.
He's cool.
He's a good, and this one kind of caught me off guard.
Really?
Because he really wasn't the gangster in this movie, but that he plays those parts so well. That's
He does.
what I like.
He plays those parts so well, and I think he did a really good
the bad
job.
guy, the hitman, things like that.
Yeah,
Come on,
very
Barry
bad.
Pepper.
He does that a lot.
Yeah, so he played one of his friends too, Frank, and so but then he was arrested when he got busted. The detective that busted him, Detective Ford.
Yes, Detective Ford.
Which was Isaiah Whitlock Jr.
Also known for the timeless meme,
She. Very first time he ever said that, right?
First time.
Very first time.
Because The Wire came out after this movie in 2004. So, because this movie came out in 2002. The book was written in 2001. This is the first time. This is the genesis of that meme.
And probably just from a conversation, right?
Yeah. So, basically, the funny story about that is Spike Lee, heard Isaiah having a conversation, and he just cusses like that. Spike Lee was like, no, you need to use that. We need to do that. And he just wrote it in there.
He's like, I need that.
I need you to
because
cuss like that.
At first I was like, well, why you say it like that? That is not a moment that you're gonna be like, she. I mean, really. But he put it in there somewhere, and it became his famous line.
And it became his famous line after that because he kind of plays a similar character in this as he did in The Wire. If somebody that's crooked,
right?
I mean, he's a detective, and I don't want to say he's crooked, but he's definitely not on the up and up.
But not on the up and up.
He's not on the up and up.
He will do some unhandedness.
He seemed like he's very underhanded and willing to cross some lines to get his way.
Right, absolutely.
So,
arrogance. There's a little arrogance in him too.
And Brian Cox played his father.
Yes.
Don't want to forget him.
Yeah.
He's a legendary actor as well. But really, the tone of it really lends to all of these different actors. I think that their strengths, and Spike Lee did a really good job
Really
in
good
who
job.
he chose. He uses Rosario Dawson a lot. He's after this, he used Isaiah Whitlock Jr. a lot, and you're following him you're following Montgomery as he goes through his last 24 hours of freedom. He's trying to right his wrongs. People want to spend time with him. His girlfriend wants to spend time with him.
She's like, stay with me. He's like, nah, I gotta see my dad.
They're having a lot of tough conversations.
It's a lot.
We keep saying the word dialogue because this movie is very dialogue heavy.
It is.
And
it is.
Spike Lee shows the relationship.
But I buckled myself down because I knew it was a Spike Lee movie.
I had to.
So now that we've been watching most of them and all of them, that I kind of was like, okay. It's gonna be a Spike
Let me
Lee
hunker
joint.
down. Let me pay attention.
Don't have too many expectations. Just go ahead, just watch it.
It's not a whole lot of action.
He grabbed my attention with Ed Norton and with Philip Seymour Hoffman and all the heavy hitters he did have in there. So that caught my attention right off. I was like, oh,
because they're brilliant actors.
in this one.
They handle the many little conversations that consistently happen throughout the movie very, very well. Because Spike Lee uses conversations and relationships between the characters to tell you backstory, to tell you about their relationship, to tell you about what they think about the situation.
He's good at going in and out of, what am I trying to say? Dimensions, like to going back and forth. Right. So he's good at that. So I expected a little of that, and I got it.
Oh, we definitely got it. You have to pay attention. You have to listen. Even if the conversation seems mundane, Spike Lee is using that conversation to tell you something about that person's relationship to something that happened.
Because you told me about the mirror scene.
Yes.
So the mirror scene, that's your favorite scene?
It is. So one of the main pivotal scenes of this movie is the FU mirror scene. And so about midway...
All our good scenes are the cussing scenes.
All the good scenes are the cussing scenes. About midway through his 24 hours of freedom, his last 24 hours of freedom, he's in a bar and he's in a mirror and he's just feeling sorry for himself. And he's upset at the world. He's upset at his situation. He's like, why did this have to happen with me? Right. There's a bunch of other people out here selling. And why did it have to happen to me like this? Who sold me out? Right. He's got one of his Russian cohorts that tried to point to his girlfriend and say that she did it.
Right.
Spike Lee uses this moment to basically create a love-hate letter to New York, to its citizens.
To get it all out.
And to just get out.
And then put it in perspective.
Get out Montgomery's frustration and help him realize that he's part of his own problem. So during this sequence, he's like, F this group of people, F these people, F the dudes on 365th Street, all this type of stuff. He's just going off. And you see these images of people that he's passed every day that he may have had a problem with, or they may have just annoyed him at one point or been in his way, or people that he didn't really pay attention to, and their faces start popping up while he's just going off. And it's the mirror version of himself that is saying
that is saying all that.
That is saying all this. So he's looking at his reflection, kind of like Issa Rae in Insecure, where she's like, the mirror person will start talking back to her. And in the middle of all that, he has a realization that, no, this is not anybody else's fault. It's not the city's fault. It's not my dad's fault. It's not my mom's fault that she died. It's my fault. I did this. And he interrupts the mirror version of himself and says, no, F me.
Right.
I did it.
It was me.
And Spike Lee is so good at those surreal moments.
Yeah.
Those things that kind of take you out of reality.
Out of there and back to make it clear.
To make it clear.
To make you
really
realize your own demise.
And that whole situation touches back a little bit later in the movie, but we'll get to that. What was your pivotal moment that you feel like in the movie?
I like the action. So I like the fight scene. I like the make me ugly scene.
Yeah.
So, he was told, don't you go to prison looking pretty. Don't go to prison looking like that, okay? Because you ain't gonna last. So, the make me ugly scene where he went to Frank and Jacob, his friends, and was like, make me ugly.
Yeah, this was like the morning before he goes to prison.
He's like, man, I'm not about to beat you up. And it was a good back and forth scene. And he said everything just to make him mad enough to do it. And then went to even the furthest point of turning around and hitting Jacob.
Yeah.
And that's what put him over the edge, because now Frank got to protect Jacob.
Yeah.
And so he really got the result that he wanted, because he jacked his face up, baby.
He jacked him up.
I mean, he was like, you gonna kill him. Like, back up. Hold on.
But that's the humor that we keep talking about that Spike Lee is able to find in really messed up situations.
Yeah.
Monty is scared that when he gets to prison, he's gonna be too pretty, and he's gonna get messed with, and so he's like, well, the only solution to that
You said you'd be there for me. You do anything.
jack my face up.
Hit me.
It's like, wait a minute, what? And his friend beating him. It's funny and not funny.
I mean, my friend wouldn't have to talk me too far in there. I'm just saying, I got you, girl.
I got you right here.
I got you.
And he's like crying and beating him up because he knows, like, I don't want to do this, but he's asked me to do this, and I know why he wants me to do it. But he's also pissed me off, and I'm a hothead.
For the team, so
it all just came together. But really, the ending of the movie, I think, is the cherry on top as far as the way Spike Lee directs. So you have that part.
Yeah.
You have this man's last hour.
Right.
And his father Monty's face is all jacked up. His father's like, should I take you to the hospital? He's like, no, just take me to prison. He's taking him to go turn him in. And as he's driving, he's kind of going in and out of consciousness, but he starts to see the faces of all the people that were in the mirror scene. Everybody that he was mad at. Everybody
didn't he? Wrote it back to you.
He wrote it back. All the people that he kind of like, said were the reason why he hated his life and hate New York City were the people smiling and waving at him as he was going
to prison.
Mm-hmm. And the question is about him going to prison. Now that's a question.
And that's the thing. He was on his way. So his daddy was talking about, we can take this exit right here and keep on driving, and we can go west, and then a whole bunch of things can happen.
Yeah.
So his daddy was telling him a story about how you could have made this decision, you could keep going, never come back. A couple of years, send for a natural.
Send for your girl.
And then y'all settle down, have a family. Then one day you gather your family and you tell them about all this.
Right.
So then after you see him getting older, she's getting older, they got all these kids and grandkids, and takes him back. The scene goes back to the car drive.
You see his face messed up again.
So yeah.
And now you back in reality.
And so, yeah, I was kind of upset.
Because you don't know.
Because what happened?
You don't know if he actually made it to prison or not.
But what really got me, because, I'm a softie. Yeah. A little bit.
Just a little.
I got a reputation to uphold.
Don't y'all tell nobody.
But the saying that the daddy said, that you came so close to something that never would happen.
Yes.
And the little saying at the end, they good at just sticking that in there. Very poignant. And then tossing the ending up in the air, and you figure it out.
You figure it out. Like, did he take his daddy's advice and go and keep going west and try to be, live under the radar and be somebody else and change his name? Or did he go and serve his time? You won't know. And Spike Lee leaves that open for your interpretation.
Yes.
He has a way of leaving things unresolved. Anytime there's that surreal ending, there's something unresolved.
Right.
And that is
because if he'd have went to prison, it just probably wouldn't have felt right for Spike.
Right. It probably wouldn't have. He wanted to leave it open.
Yeah.
What do you think
I was prepared for an open ending, but dang it.
Yeah, it was open. That was a wide open ending. So for me, it took me a minute to get into the movie initially because it was a lot of dialogue and I don't think I was in the mood per se.
Hell, y'all all that talking. Who's talking?
Right. And I'm usually with it. Usually with that.
You are. This is usually your thing.
I just wasn't in the mood. So I had to try it again. And I started really paying attention to how Spike Lee was building this whole world. You can hear the backstory and you find out new things about Monty's character and what he's doing and why.
And I'm gonna say this: with a Spike Lee movie, you have to go back and watch it.
You do.
You have to go back and watch even the older ones. You realize there was people in there that you didn't know was in there the first 7 times you watched it,
or context that you didn't realize, like the seeing people from the mirror scene again.
Right.
So for that reason, because of how it was done, it gets a hot for me.
I'm gonna give it a hot too. I liked it. Now you got Ed Norton.
I know. And prior to that,
it's one of my favorites. So,
prior to that, I saw him in American History X. He's not somebody you would have thought would play that kind of role or this role, but he did a great job.
He plays a lot of roles, but I like it. So I'm gonna give it a hot. So you go check out The 25th Hour and tell me what happened.
Right. Let us know what you think. Do you think he went to prison, or do you think that he took his dad's advice and went west?
I don't know.
Let us know in the comments. Make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Bye. And welcome to GCU Reviews.
Getting closer.
What's hot and what's not.
Getting closer.
Bye.